My law office gets a lot of calls from those in the music business who are trying to understand copyright, whether it's a record label or an artist or a producer or just someone in between trying to get a grasp of what's copyright. How do I protect myself? Why does it matter? And we have kind of those hard teaching videos on this channel dedicated to showing you how do you file your copyright application? What's the difference between copyrights and trademarks? But I wanted to have a video that was just dedicated to generally breaking it down and making it very simple for you to understand what copyright is. So in today's video, I'm going to cover the basics of copyright. Hi guys, I'm Miss Crystal. I'm an entertainment attorney, public speaker, and author of How to Keep Your Dukes Up in the Music Business. I'm the owner of Dukes Up Records, and most importantly, I'm an independent musician. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss our weekly videos dedicated to helping you protect yourself legally in your music career. We talk about copyrights, trademarks, contracts, and everything in between. And by popular demand, you can now get How to Keep Your Dukes Up in the Music Business as a direct digital download, meaning you can get it to your device right now. And this book is something that I put together as an A to Z guide on how to have a successful music career as an independent musician. Because as a musician myself, I understand the daily stuff that we gotta do, the to-do lists, the considerations, but also on the legal side. As an entertainment attorney, I can walk you through it. I'm gonna teach you about your copyrights, your trademarks, and I'm gonna give you the contracts that you need to protect yourself. So make sure you get your copy, link down in the description below. To kick this off, when we talk about copyright, think of copyright as kind of synonymous with the word ownership, right? So, you might have, let's say, a lease for a car or a lease for a house. Well, the actual thing is the car or the house, but the thing that kind of secures your right to have that thing is the actual document. So in the same kind of way with music and our ownership, we say who owns the copyright. Now, let's dive into kind of the distinction between a composition and a master, because what a lot of people don't understand is that there's actually two copyrights in any song. And the way it works is, for example, I write a lot of my music on the piano, and I'll do chords and I'll do lyrics, and so that's kind of my writing style. When I write a song in its original form with the chords and the lyrics, that's my composition. And I have copyright in my composition, so meaning my chords, my words, my melodies. So now that you have the composition, well, a lot of us then go and actually record it, right? Because we want to distribute it to music platforms. As soon as we actually record that composition, in the recorded version, it becomes now a master. And so copyright carries with that sound recording or the master. So when we say you actually have two copyrights in any song, that's the reason. You have copyright in the original composition as well as copyright in the final recorded version. Now, let me use a quick example of why this kind of matters. When we do, let's say, deals with record labels, the record labels will typically own the masters, and they'll have kind of an uninhibited right to use the composition as they need to, this and that, but typically the composer retains the right to the composition. So the record label is going to ultimately own the copyright in the master, but let's say you as the artist, you as the creator, you'll still retain the rights to your composition. So if someone came and they wanted to, let's say, do a cover of one of your hit songs, well, in order to cover it, they're not actually using the recorded version anymore, right? They're doing a cover, an original version of your song. Well, your song, right, is the actual composition. So that's how composers will get paid on their songs long after they've sold the rights or given the rights to, let's say, a record label. So as you guys are thinking about your copyright, protecting your music, every time that you get a music contract that contains words like composition, words like master, those are going to now trigger in your mind. You're going to say, okay, I remember the redhead attorney told me that the composition is basically the chords, the structure, the original song, and that the master is going to be the actual final recorded song. And so you need to be clear about what is it that you are giving away in exchange for that deal or for that record label deal, let's say. Now that you have a more clear understanding of what copyright is, your next question might be, well, how do I get my copyright and how do I protect my ownership in my music? And the answer is that under the US Copyright Act of 1976, it vests copyright as soon as you actually make the creative work. So what I mean is if you are writing your song and you have, let's say, you're working on the lyrics and you're writing, a piece of paper, a pen, as soon as you actually write it down on that piece of paper, you have automatic copyright because you've taken an idea and you've turned it into something tangible. And under copyright law, you have the right to now be protected. But what a lot of you have probably heard is, well, what do you do when you need to register a copyright, or what is registering a copyright? Well, the next step that you do to kind of formalize your copyright is to file with the Library of Congress or the Copyright Office. It's the same thing. And when you file an application, the good news is that it's not super expensive. I think they just raised the rate, but now it's like $65 to file. But you file the application, you say, here's all the information that pertains to the song. This is who owns it, this is who wrote it, this is who wrote the lyrics. And then once it's filed now, you have a federal government piece of paper that says, this is the music and this is who it belongs to. And the reason you want to do that, even though you still have protection under copyright law just by making the thing, right? So in the example of writing it on a piece of paper or recording it into your phone, even creating a little audio file, that is copyright protected as well. But the reason you want to actually file is because you get all kinds of extra benefits by doing that. Now, one of the extra benefits is that all of a sudden now you have the right to file in a court of law if someone violates your copyright. So meaning they steal your song, they steal a portion of your song or your vocal hook or your guitar riff, whatever it is, and they use it in their song. If you don't actually have the copyright registration, you're not allowed to go and sue in a court of law. You got to actually go and do that whole process, which can take, sometimes months. And so by kind of making this a part of what you do, and you say, okay, we got to file this application every time there's a new song, you get it anyway. And then if something happens, you're ready to rock and roll. You got your certificate, you can get in touch with an attorney, and then hopefully get, a solution to the copyright infringement. And the last piece of understanding copyright is now going to be, what do you do as far as keeping it, protecting it, and making sure that into your career, when you're done with your career, that you kind of have this legacy built and you still own your music? Well, this goes to the contracts that you're going to sign, whether it's a record label deal, a management deal, whoever you're working with. At some point, someone's going to say, I want to co-own the music, or I just want to own your music outright. And early in our careers, we're typically more likely to give away ownership to our music because in exchange, we're usually getting help, right? We're getting help from a record label who says they're, the record label is going to make us a big star and they're going to help us with our social media and all of this. And that sounds nice, but what you'll see in the contracts is that it says you are forever assigning your copyright, your ownership in your music to that company. And so when you see that language, obviously now you can remember and know and understand that it just means that you are giving away ownership to your music. And so they get to use it without your authorization. They get to even sell it to someone else. And those are things we don't worry about too much early on, but they become a big deal, especially when you do hit those kind of, landmarks for your career of what you wanted to accomplish. Now that you kind of have this in the back of your mind, you can think a little more strategically. Be at the forefront of your career. Be really that independent musician that's able to protect what is yours. And it's called intellectual property. Copyright is intellectual property, and it's what's going to build the value of your career. It's your catalog, your music library. And so that's why it's that much more important that A, that you guys understand this, B, you apply it because you're going to go through and actually get your copyright registrations, and that C, when it comes to contracts and it comes to what are you going to do, that you're going to be cautious and you're going to always try to retain the copyright in your music whenever possible. I have a playlist on this channel dedicated to helping you guys understand about copyrights. I'm gonna link it down as a comment to this video. So make sure you click on that and just continue your learning. And obviously there's tons of other content on the channel about intellectual property, trademarks, and all that, just to help you guys become better in your own careers and to protect yourselves. And like I said, I am super dedicated to trying to help you guys to understand copyright. So besides this video, there's more videos on this channel talking about copyright. And then in the book that I mentioned at the beginning, How to Keep Your Dukes Up in the Music Business, I show you guys how to file, where to go. So wherever you're going to get the information, go someplace and continue your learning so you understand more about copyright. And I'm gonna need you to drop everything that you're doing right now. Check out Miss KRYSTLE on all music platforms to kind of see what I'm up to. I just released my new album, Dangerous Daughters, as well as a new music video called Holy Water, which I'll be sure to link at the end of this video. Hit me up on social media, come say hi, because it's always cool to meet you guys and hear what you're up to. I'm gonna get out of here. Be sure to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss any videos from your new favorite redhead. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm Miss KRYSTLE. Bye.